Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I hope you guys are all doing well. We have actually a lot of news to talk about here. There's episode titles for Daryl Dixon Season 2 that I want to get into. All 6 episodes actually, we know the titles for, so yeah, I do want to get into that because it is actually pretty revealing and does sort of tell you, in a way anyways, you can kind of read into a little bit of how the story is going to go. There's some really interesting titles in there. And I also want to talk about the latest teaser trailer that actually dropped here because there was some really cool shots in there that I haven't seen before. So before going any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon is premiering in like, what is it, like 5 weeks now? Or I guess it'll be 5 weeks this Sunday, right? Like it's coming up very, very fast. In a week from now, almost, we're going to be exactly a month away. And also, I've been seeing a lot of people saying that Daryl Dixon is actually on Netflix now, like The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. So I'm going to have to go and check that out. I did know that it was supposed to be on there on the 19th. But yeah, the last couple of days, I was actually out. That's why I haven't posted in the last couple of days. I was, I've just been dealing with a lot of stuff this last month. A lot of stuff has just kind of happened to me personally. So I was like, you know what? How can I deal with this in the best way and sort of reset and just, get into a good mindset, just sort of take care of myself. And so me and the kids went out to the country back home and went to a cabin and just sort of hung out there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was definitely, I think, that the best thing to do. And I think that, obviously being back home and whenever you go back to your hometown or anything like that in general, you just sort of like feel better overall, right? Like you just like everything feels nostalgic and you're kind of looking around, you're like, oh, I remember this, and also bringing my kids there to those places and telling them all these stories and stuff like that was just so cool. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, but that's why I didn't post in the last couple of days. But apparently The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon is actually on Netflix right now, so if you haven't checked it out yet, I definitely recommend doing so. Even if you have checked it out, honestly, go and rewatch it. I probably am going to be I am going to be rewatching it like tonight. Like I'm going to be watching episode 1 and seeing how far I can get. Honestly, I think binge watching it would be pretty incredible because I haven't ever binge watched any of the spin-offs yet because, well, I review them every single week and I just haven't really went back and rewatched any of the previous episodes. And it'll be kind of fun to rewatch all 6 episodes, not really do any videos on it, just honestly just for my own personal interest in it, just to watch The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And also, I know a lot of people are asking about Dead City and The Ones Who Live. Are those shows going to be on Netflix? They will, I believe, in January of 2025. So it's still about 4 months away, which is still kind of insane. 5 months away, I guess. Yeah, so those shows will be on then, and then we'll see what that does. Honestly, I think this deal that AMC made with Netflix is really, really amazing for The Walking Dead. I think a lot of people are going to be watching this because everybody loves The Walking Dead. It's hard to watch the show sometimes, right? Because it's on AMC Plus and it's not always accessible to a lot of people. A lot of people have Netflix. And so again, that deal, really incredible deal because I've actually gotten messages from people saying that like I noticed it on there and I watched it, like it's a really incredible show. So but yeah, let's talk about the trailer here first and then we'll actually get into the episode titles and whatnot. So the trailer here, it's a shorter trailer, so I guess it's more of a teaser trailer if anything. But the reason why this is really interesting is because of what Carol is actually saying throughout a lot of this. First of all, there's new footage, so there is that, so that's obviously really incredible, but it's what Carol is saying here. It's literally what she says is dialogue that takes place probably in like episode 2, maybe episode 1, but it's of Carol in France already, and she says, "I'm Carol. I have come a very long way. Daryl Dixon, where is he? He's the only family I have left." Now, a lot of this dialogue obviously isn't written to be said just like that in a sentence, obviously. I think it's from a lot of different scenes, but if you just sort of read that, like she's saying, "I'm Carol." I mean, she could be saying that to Ash, obviously, or she could be saying it to somebody in France. "I've come a very long way." That piece of dialogue obviously comes from France, right? Daryl Dixon, where is he? That's obviously from France, and then he's the only family I have left. I guess that could be, her talking to Ash as well before she goes to France, but she could also be saying it to somebody in France as well. So really cool dialogue here, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because of the way she's saying the dialogue. It's I feel like the reunion of Carol and Daryl, to me, I'm underestimating a lot, because I feel like I'm not focused on it that much as opposed to like the Rick and Michonne reunion, because I know them reuniting was different, right? Like Michonne thought Rick was dead, this and that. Rick was gone for 10 years and couldn't get back home and all of that. So I know that it is different, but I do think Carol's personal struggles and, the line, "He's the only family I have left," and she's saying it and it sounds like she's crying. Like I really am so excited to have these two characters together again. And the fact that Carol is just like really wanting Daryl, right? Like I need to find him. Like he has to be safe. He has to be okay. Like if something happens to him, like he's the only person I have left. Like he's the only family I have left. And it's such a crazy thing to say when you consider the fact that Carol has so much, what I always considered to be her family obviously like in Alexandria in the Commonwealth, but I guess for her, she views them really as just like friends, and maybe they are kind of like family a bit, but like Daryl's like her real family, right? Like, and it's crazy because we know that there's going to be a Sophia scene and there's likely going to be other flashbacks. It really does add to the importance of Carol finding Daryl and a lot of what she's going to be going through, you know, I guess beforehand and the whole build up to finding him. And I'm so excited to see the reunion. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. And Carol here, I mean, obviously it looks like she's very emotional here in the scene. I think at this point here, she is already in France. The background here, it's more green, and I mean, it's hard to say where this is exactly. I don't really know. I don't know if this is related to the cave that Daryl walks into, you know, where there's glow-in-the-dark walkers. I don't know if this is like some sort of secret facility where there's like scientists and all that. I have no idea. But Carol being in this place is interesting because there's also this one shot here of Carol where she does actually kill this walker here. So there are walkers in this place. And so there's no way that this is from like a random scene, you know, just I guess in America or something like that. Like this has to be in France. And we also do have this other shot here where we do see Carol in this vehicle here. And I know that Daryl is in the shot as well. Ash could be in the shot. I think that could be who is sitting beside Carol, but they are trapped in this vehicle. I don't know how they're going to get out. Maybe it's Isabel and everyone else that sort of helps them out in this situation here. But I believe they're all together here because we do have previous shots from other trailers where we do actually, you know, see Daryl and Carol coming up to this vehicle. But at some point, there's a lot of walkers, I guess, where they actually all get trapped here, right? And yeah, just really incredible shot. And I also wanted to talk about this as well. This happens earlier in the trailer, but we see Carol with Daryl's crossbow. Now, we have seen this shot a lot. We've actually seen this shot quite a bit. And again, this goes back to what I was saying like a couple of weeks ago. Actually, when the trailer first dropped at Comic-Con, which is almost a month ago already, they always crop the trailers out. Like the original shot we saw of this, we didn't see the plane in the background. Like it was actually cropped, I guess, sort of on the side of that. And you could tell because the quality kind of looked a little bad in the shot. But like if you actually see the full shot, the shot looks really incredible. You see the plane in the background. So this is when Carol gets to France for the first time. And yeah, she has Daryl's crossbow here. Obviously, we know there's going to be walkers here in the scene. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be absolutely incredible to see how she, I guess, travels from here all the way to eventually France, I guess, and how she gets to seeing, you know, Daryl and everyone else. We have this one shot here of Carol. I believe one of the characters here is Ash, and then there's two other characters. These are likely two characters that she's going to meet randomly. I don't know if they're going to be of any importance at all, maybe just for the episode. Is this episode 1? Maybe. You know, it's hard to say. I could easily see this, though, being like the final shot of episode 1. Like, Carol has made it here. She's met some, you know, more people here. They're going to bring her to France. And then she sort of looks on. I don't know if that's the nest over there or if it's just the mountains. I'm not entirely sure what that is over there. But actually, yeah, it wouldn't be the nest, right? And but yeah, she's just looking on sort of thing. And she's looking at France. And now she's on this journey to finding him. And so I think that could be how episode 1 ends. And then in episode 2, I believe that, you know, she probably will find him in that episode. I think that makes sense anyways. But just a really incredible trailer, honestly. Like anything that we get of new footage is always just a lot of fun. But yeah, I do want to get into the episode titles here for all 6 episodes. And so this is coming from Rotten Tomatoes, actually. And I've been getting a lot of people sending me the translated versions of all this. So first of all, thank you to everyone who is sending me that and letting me know, you know, I guess that all the titles and what it means and whatnot when people like tag me and stuff. And it's nice. So yeah, I really do appreciate that. But I'm seeing this here from @AaronsArm, TWD on Twitter, or I guess X. And yeah, it says news. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol episode titles have been released via Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is where I saw that. Episode 201. Now, I'm not going to be able to say these titles here in French, which I hope none of my family's watching because my family's French. And again, I spoke French when I was a kid, but I just haven't really at all as an adult. And I mean, really since I was a kid. So I don't even want to attempt it. But episode 1 here, well, the translation here anyways, is the kindness of strangers. And so that must be a reference to Ash, obviously, right? Ash must help Carol in that situation. Obviously, you know, he helps her get to France and whatnot. So the kindness of strangers, I believe that's probably going to be what that is. There might be more of a meaning there, obviously, for Daryl as well, because it's probably going to mean something for both characters. Episode 2, Moulin Rouge. I don't know if that's a reference to just what I guess that play or whatever that was. I mean, I don't know if there's anything to it because Rouge obviously is red. So I wonder if maybe there's something to do with walkers and like, you know, red's blood and all that. I have no idea. But episode 2 is called that. Episode 3, the translation here is pretty simple. It means the invisible. So I don't know if that's variant walkers or what that is in terms of the story. That's hard to say what that would actually mean. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know what the story is for this season. Like, that's the one thing I would say they've done really well. I think people could complain about it overall, but they really hide a lot of the details of the story until you watch like the first episode. Then you're like, whoa, the story's going here? Because it's felt like that with every single spinoff so far. Like the ones who live, Dead City, and Daryl Dixon. Every single spinoff has been just like, we don't know what the story is at all until we watch the first episode. Then we're like, okay, so here are all the characters and now we know where we're going, right? Whereas before with previous seasons of The Walking Dead and like the other spinoffs, we knew a lot of where the story is going. Maybe there was other things we didn't really know, but like we generally got where the first couple of episodes were going. And for the most part, it would play out pretty much exactly how we thought it would, right? So yeah, I don't know where the story's going to be going here, but for episode 4, the translation is paradise for you. So maybe that's related to a character wanting, I guess to find home or something like that. And maybe this one place they found or something could be paradise for you. Or maybe it's a reference to the nest and the nest being a paradise for Laurent, but no one else. Episode 5, the translation is wanting is power, which I think the way that was translated there, I mean, pouvoir, the group is called pouvoir, right? Madame Gené's group is called pouvoir. So I think it more is a reference to that there. There could be more of a different meaning there, but I think whatever pouvoir wants, like this is episode 5, so this is going to be a very big episode. Based off of the spinoff so far, episode 5 is like the biggest, most like emotional episode. There's always like a big death or something big happens in that episode, right? So like a big reveal kind of thing, right? So I feel like this could be one of those moments here for pouvoir, and maybe it's related to like Madame Gené's death. There's going to be variant walkers and stuff, obviously, right? And then we get episode 6, which honestly, when I'm looking at the translations for all this, all of it makes a lot of sense. I'm actually kind of shocked at how much I do understand French, but yeah, the translation is goodbye children. And so I'm guessing that has to do with the nest, like saying goodbye to the nest and like the future and whatnot and whatever Laurent meant to everyone. Again, they're going to Spain for season 3. So like Spain, it's not like they're going to a totally different place. They are, but not really. Like it is still close to France. So I think that means that they leave, if they're forced to leave or something, and Daryl and Carol are going to be in Spain. And I think that means that they're probably going to lose the nest, I'm guessing. But Madame Gené, the variant walkers are likely still going to be threats, or at least the variant walkers will likely be. I still feel like, Madame Gené is going to lose control of the variant walkers. I feel like that makes a lot of sense because, introducing something like this and having that power like that, maybe that's related to episode 5 with wanting his power. I feel like having power like that to be able to turn walkers into these, super walkers, like that, if that gets out of control and they start to actually mutate where they're just super walkers, like she's not going to be able to keep control of that. And I feel like that's where this is going overall, is she's eventually going to lose control of these variant walkers. And that's going to be her downfall. And I think that's how they also lose the nest. Like everyone loses basically, and they all have to sort of leave, go to Spain. I think obviously there's going to be some connections and whatnot to France because they're going to establish that story. But there's going to be, I think, a really interesting arc here where, if you think about it, it really is going to be similar to like in season 2, of The Walking Dead, we lost the farm. And then in season 3, we went to the prison, right? It's going to be sort of similar. Like we're going to be ending this arc here, it looks like, with the story in France and pouvoir. And then in season 3, there's going to be a different arc, which is going to be similar to season 3 of The Walking Dead with the prison. So I'm so fascinated in these episode titles and what they mean. The last couple of episode titles is really, really, really interesting. Honestly, I really do like the fact that they have the episode titles in French. It does add a lot of a different feel to the show overall, because I really do like what Norman Reedus is saying about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Like, he doesn't want it to be The Walking Dead in France. Like, he wants it to be more of a French show, right? And so you have that aspect to it, and it does change the story, and it does make it way more refreshing, I feel like, because you can sort of get the same Walking Dead feeling from the other shows and whatnot. Like The Walking Dead Dead City, I would say is definitely very close to how The Walking Dead felt, though it does feel like it's a little bit more of a darker story, and it looks like season 2 is getting even more darker. I really do feel like Herschel's eventually going to become the villain, but yeah, I don't know, I'm really excited for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. I really can't wait to watch it on Netflix later on today. So yeah, but I'll leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.